what more they know about him. Sort of their whole process and sort of their focus was getting him in. So now the investigation begins, and who he is and what his motives are, and could there have been something much worse? That was he up to something else here? But they don't think that, but certainly they're going to look at that. But we do know, his name is Steve. We don't know how old he is. We know he made this YouTube video, so they know a lot about him right now.
So Shimon, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we did just finally we have this video now. I just want to play a clip of it so viewers can see this person and what he said before he did this, and then give you a chance to talk about some of the reporting on it. Let me play it.
Hello, Mr. Trump. Do excuse my manner of appearance. I just don't know how many people will watch this, and I'd rather not be recognizable. I am an independent researcher seeking a private audience with you to discuss an important matter. I guarantee that it is in your interest to honor this request. Believe me, if my purpose was not significant, I would not risk my life pursuing it. The reason I climbed your tower was to get your attention. If I had sought this via conventional means, I would be much less likely to have success because you are a busy man with many responsibilities. I'll get my contact information to your campaign.
Shimon, as you hear him speaking, I mean, this is a pretty threatening, sinister thing.
Yeah, but, I think right now, I've just got off the phone with a source, and I think right now they may actually take him to the hospital for some kind of a psychological exam. I mean, we don't know what he was up to, and it certainly does sound it. But, I mean, this guy clearly knew what he was doing, right? So he had some planning, and, who knows if he's done this before. But, yeah, no, it certainly sounds sinister, the way he's speaking. He looks kind of, with what he's wearing, it looks threatening. So definitely they're gonna take a hard look at this and try and make sure that he wasn't up to something, something else.
All right, well, Shimon, please stay with me. I want to bring into the conversation now Jerry Iorio, who was outside Trump Tower as this was happening. Michael Cohen, Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, also joins me. And Grayson Schaefer with Outside Magazine is also with us as well. Jerry, let me start with you. You work right there. What can you tell us? What did you see happening?
I just saw a man when I spun around my desk climbing the side of the building, and clearly wasn't a window washer, but at first it wasn't too alarming until you realize that people were starting to get worried about this guy scaling the side of the building, and then I realized the cops were showing up, and then it became a situation where clearly he wasn't supposed to be there, so there was a lot of activity around that, and that's when the action started to take place about bringing him in.
And could you see anything about what he was doing, whether the look on his face or what he was carrying or anything, Jerry, from where you were?
Yeah, he had a backpack and he had like a water bottle hanging from it. And then what I saw was he took out looked like a MacBook Pro. It was a bigger computer. He threw that to the ground, and then he took out what looked like a spiral notepad and flipped through 2 or 3 pages and put it against the glass to kind of have whoever's on the other side read it, and then dropped that to the ground. We showed the police his backpack to make sure there was nothing else in there, and then just went on his way, moving left to get away from where they were trying to grab him, and continue scaling.
And Shimon, from what you've been talking to with your sources, does this fit with it that he had some sort of message, perhaps, that was on that spiral notebook piece of paper that he held so someone could read it inside, or what he did with his computer?
So I don't know that they've had an opportunity yet to sort of look at that stuff and review some of the stuff that was, last I checked, they had not been able to sort of look inside his bag yet. I don't know if they're going to wait for a search warrant. There's all these other things that they need to do before they start searching someone's, stuff, I guess. I don't yet know anything about this notebook or what was on the computer. So I think, as the night goes on, we'll probably learn more about that, probably, fairly quickly. So that I don't know. I think the point now is really, they're really trying to learn more about him. And I think the other thing, Aaron, here is that they really need to figure out how this happened. I mean, this should not have happened. And that building is pretty secure. They do need to balance this whole idea where people can freely enter that building, because it does have retail stores and coffee shops and a restaurant, but this should not have happened. And I think that's going to be their big concern now, is going to be, how the hell did this happen?
Well, and that is the question, Michael Cohen, you've got to have, is how the hell did this happen?
Well, clearly the guy came to the building within which to scale the side, came with all the paraphernalia necessary. I don't know that he did start on the 5th floor. I've heard that myself.
That's what the report is, that he started
Sure.
on the 5th floor.
And
on
if
a
that's in fact true,
patio.
then at the end of the day, it's a very large patio area. He clearly went to the corner, and before anybody was able to approach him, he was already high enough that he was unreachable. I mean, the police were there virtually most of the day, and I do want to say thank you to to New York's finest for doing a great job, making sure this guy didn't get hurt. There's definitely something mentally wrong with him.
Well, you saw that clip. Do you feel that this was a threat to Donald Trump?
You know, I don't know. I'm not law enforcement, but if I had to just go on my gut, I would say no. I just think he's a disturbed young man who was seeking attention. What information he wanted to give to Mr. Trump, he clearly could have sent by U.S. postage, or he could have made a phone call to the office and just left the message. He didn't need to pull this dangerous and ridiculous stunt. Caused a tremendous amount of traffic between 56th, 57th Street,
Right,
5th
really
Avenue.
shut down a good part of New York City.
I mean, during rush hour.
So Jerry, when you talk about that piece of paper from the spiral notebook that he held up for someone to read, when you talk about the MacBook, did anyone tell you anything about what it might have said or any sort of interaction he had with anyone on the inside of the building at that time?
No, I just was looking from across the way and just saw him do that action, and it was scary enough because he had no safety harness. So at any point, if he fell, that was what we were really concerned about. So.
And Grayson, let me ask you this question. You just heard Jerry say he had no safety harness, and the big question, of course, is how did he do this? How did he do this, do you think?
Well, it looks like he actually did have a sort of standard, climbing harness on, and had 4 of these industrial strength suction cups that you can order on the internet. And he was using a type of climbing, known to big wall climbers called aid climbing, where he had, 3 points of contact on the building at any one time, and was also anchored in with his suction, with his climbing harness.
So he knew what he was doing.
It looked like he knew what he was doing, and it looked like, he wasn't going to tire out and drop off the wall. I mean, at any point when he was tired, he could just hang in his harness. So it appeared as though when this altercation finally ended, it was as the police were able to reach out the window and, clip a carabiner onto his harness and then haul him in that way and pull him with the suction cup still attached to him. So it looked like it was actually all done with a fair amount of safety.
Chris Voss is with us now, former FBI hostage negotiator. Chris, he had indicated when they were negotiating with him, he had no interest in stopping his climb. He was going to go all the way to the top. So as you saw, they had to forcibly bring him inside the building by blowing out a window and bringing him in on the 21st floor. What do you think the motive possibly could have been here? All we have right now, you hear what Jerry's talking about, the computer, the spiral notebook with a message for someone inside, and that very bizarre video where he said he had a message for Mr. Trump.
Yeah, well, this is, you start looking at actions as a form of communication. And his intensity on getting Mr. Trump's attention here is what is actually disturbing, and the lengths that he's willing to go in order to get that attention. And this is a tremendous focus, tremendous amount of planning, tremendously unusual for some secretive message. So the guy is, unfortunately, a little bit disturbing with the intensity and focus that he has on Mr. Trump and the point that he's trying to make here by scaling this particular building. So this guy probably would prove to be a danger if he isn't dealt with.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for being with me. Donald Trump actually is about to take the stage right now, speak live at a rally in this hour. Is he going to talk about this incident that happened today at Trump Tower?